Well, we're recording now, Jack.
Oh dear. Well, okay then. Oh, boy. All right, let's get serious now. Let's get down to business. Hello.
Yeah. Okay. Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Imperium Podcast. Today, I'm fortunate enough to be joined by a good friend and 2017 UKDFBA British teen champion, Jack Stanyer. Now, I've had the pleasure of knowing Jack for a few years, and I've been able to see him transition into veganism and prep for a very successful season. Now, please tell me why you're so awesome. How did you get into it? Where did it all begin?
We talking? Okay, well, a long time ago. I started generally lifting weights when I was about 14. I don't know where it came from. I think I've always been quite a fan of, do you know, when you watch movies and things like that, and of the like superhero movies or Rocky or something like that, and you just want to impersonate what they're doing. So if I watch Rocky, I want to go and run or something, or do push-ups or something like that. Or if I watch superheroes, it's basically who I admire. And from there, throughout school, I always wanted a six-pack, and I never had one. So I think pretty much where I started out from was coming home from school every day, doing about 100 sit-ups every single day to try and get a six-pack. And it just kind of flourished from there, really. I used to play squash and things like that, and they had a gym there. And every time I walked past the gym, I was like, I really would like to go in there, and it looks really cool, and just play around. And then one day, I just went down with my mate down to the gym, and it just went from there pretty much. I was doing one set of dumbbell curls and chest press in my house, and then from that came into actually going into the gym. And then from that, I basically learnt from the people who owned the gym how to actually train, and then I just fell in love from there pretty much, and it's just been a massive part of my life from then on. Pretty much instantly training every single day. So it wasn't just a small thing. It was literally like because I used to do cadets before, and as soon as I started training the gym, I just switched the time I would go to the cadets to go into the gym, and then that just became pretty much every single day thing for the entire week. And then it just grew and grew, and then I had different training partners, but I just kept sticking through it. And then I just really enjoyed building my physique up, and I always wanted to look like the superheroes I aspire to be, and pretty much from there. So just was training for ages, and then as we met at Exercise for Less, and then I saw you competing, and then I was training with Aiden at the time, and we were like, fuck, like, let's do it, let's compete as well, let's give it a go. We saw what you could do, and that was it pretty much. And that's how we are at where we're at now, pretty much.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been training total?
It's got to be coming up to about 6.5 years now. That's pretty much from the first day I lifted up a dumbbell. Yeah. Like proper training where I actually understand what I'm doing and not just following some random plans off the people who work at the gym. You're probably looking at about two or 3 years. Everything before then has just been literally a different program written every 3 weeks. So nothing really stuck out. Just having fun, really. Just it being a part of social more than anything. But actually serious bodybuilding pretty much when I started college. And then it got a lot more serious and became something more of a passion and a hobby than just something I did for fun.
Okay. So why bodybuilding? So what drew you to bodybuilding in general?
I think it's because I'm pretty shit at every other sport. I'm crap at football. I'm crap at rugby. I'm crap at squash. I'm crap at tennis. The only other good thing I was good at was swimming, but it was always something that my dad wanted me to do rather than what I wanted to do. So every sport that I was forced into doing, I absolutely hated, and the gym was the only sport that I decided to go and do myself. And I think that's another thing. I've always been a really independent person, and I just like doing my own thing. And I suppose that's just another reason why it's just drove me to sticking with that, because it's just all me. There's no one else really. You can't really have someone else force you to go there. You have to want to go there yourself. And I think bodybuilding is one of those sports where it is literally just you. And the way, sure, you can have outside help like coaches and things like that, but when it comes down to it, it's you and your desires. And I don't think there's any other sport apart from bodybuilding that is pretty much solely focused on you, and the only person who matters is you. Just one of those things about nobody else can let you down, I suppose, apart from yourself, and that just drives me even more, because I know if the only person really who's looking out for myself is me. So.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. I just love it because it's just so personal.
Yeah,
it's almost like, I suppose another aspect is getting me through a lot of shit outside in normal life, like school, family, bad times, and it's just an area where you can go and everything else doesn't matter anymore. You can just focus on yourself, I suppose.
Okay, cool. Everyone knows that you're a vegan, but not many people know what convinced you into veganism. What happened?
Okay, so it's quite a funny one, because I've always liked to look up information to do with bodybuilding and fitness and stuff in general, and I've always liked to do things that make sense to me. And I was watching, funnily enough, you probably know him as Vegan Gains. Quite a controversial character, to say the least. But I just enjoyed his videos because he's so fucking ridiculous. Just chats so much macca. I just enjoyed watching him. But there's a few things he does say that make sense. So I was like, okay, this is interesting, but I don't want to lose any of my muscle. My main focus is the gym. I would love to help out in any way I can with the world that I live in and the beings that surround me. And I'm a massive animal lover, so I never really liked the fact that I had to obviously eat them to get what I wanted. So it was kind of a side thing for quite a while. And then one day after my birthday, actually, after I had a 6-person platter all to myself with you, of Nando's. Yeah, literally that day, I don't think I've ate as much meat as I did on that day. I ate so much meat, it was ridiculous.
Birthday treat.
It was. I just come off a cut, my first proper cut, and got really lean. I looked pretty cool as well, to be honest. It was the first time I've had been that lean. And I just like was looking through YouTube, and I was looking at people like John Venus, this guy called Vegan Physique, Vegan Hustle TV, just different vegans and things like that. And just because I was just interested, because they all looked really good, and I was like, why these guys look so good? And they were all of them. I watched all their videos on what changed them, and they all came up with these 3 main documentaries that you can all find on Netflix, actually. And it was Forks Over Knives, which is to do with the health aspects. These 2 scientists basically using a vegan diet to help people with illnesses and diabetes and things like that. And then another one was Cowspiracy, which is all to do with government, and it actually had a lot to do with what do you call them, like funding for environmental things, so like save the rainforest and stuff like that. But none of them would talk about animal agriculture being a cause of greenhouse gases. So the whole documentary was about like this guy trying to find out why that was, and a lot of it had to do with massive funding coming from dairy industries and meat industries to basically shut these people up and not say anything about it. And that just made me like go, okay, hang on, what's going on here? So I got more interested in it, and then did some more research, and then I watched the last one was Earthlings, and that was, you know, all the horrible videos that nobody wants to see. And they said, if you can watch all these three and you know, not seriously think about changing, then you're probably never going to change. And I watched all three all the way through, and a lot of it made sense to me. And then the last nail on the head ended me just basically, I didn't care if I lost my muscle. I was like, I can't be part of this anymore. Because it brought me to tears. I was crying my eyes out for like an hour because I just couldn't believe some of the stuff that happens. So yeah, I went downstairs that day. I had all my meals prepped, and I was like, I'm not eating meat ever again. Put them all in the bin. Put everything in the bin. The whole lot. The whole fridge pretty much went in the bin, and that was it. I was changing from then on, and I wasn't going back. And I've stuck to it ever since.
Yeah, pretty much.
I remember telling you. It was quite abrupt. It literally all happened within a day. I just changed, and that was literally it.
Was that never really that bad? It's not just you who turned vegan at that time as well. It was also your mum, wasn't it?
No, my mum took a little bit longer. She wanted to do it for quite a while. I've always brought up the idea of saying, like, you know, if I was to go vegan, would you go with me? And she's like, yeah, of course, because she's always been quite compassionate about animals anyway. So she wanted to do it, but obviously with me being quite a big meat eater at the time, it was just inconvenient. But when I changed, I was like, I'm going, will you come with me? And she's like, yeah, of course. And but she's got quite a big addiction to chocolate. She did have. So she really struggled on that side of things. And with having a boyfriend that was still a meat eater, he would actually bring home chocolates and stuff like that because he knew that I was vegan and he wanted to tempt her. So he's just been a massive knobhead, basically. Literally, he was doing it just to annoy me because he knew it annoyed me. And he would actually bring home steak and stuff like that and put it in the fridge just to piss me off. So that happened for a little bit, but since me and my mum have moved into this house, we've pretty much been just a vegan household and just chilled for God, how many years have I been vegan now? Must be 2 years now, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, roughly around then. Yeah,
2.5 years.
Yeah, you've literally not looked back since.
No. I suppose if you've got any other questions that lead into those, we can talk about that now. Why I haven't changed back or anything like that.
Well, the next question is, with you being a rare breed, literally,
right?
You are a rare breed. I don't know a natural bodybuilder who was competing as a teenager who was also a vegan on or off social media. Literally. So, with you being the only person of your kind, did you face any adversities or criticisms for your choices? Was there any sort of self-doubt or anything like that?
I suppose the first thing I should say is there is actually quite a lot of vegan athletes out there that I have found who do compete. There is quite a lot, but I'm probably the only one that I know that's in England that competes in a natural federation in bodybuilding, whilst a lot of them tend to be in America. So there are a lot out there, but they're just not that popular at the moment. They're gaining popularity as the years pass, though. But anyway, self-doubt, no, not really. I think when you change, it's a mindset change. That day changed my mindset completely. And in myself, I basically sacrificed the one thing that meant. I think this is the one of the reasons why I've stayed for so long is because I was literally ready to sacrifice the only thing that had serious purpose in my life at the time, and that was bodybuilding. I was willing to sacrifice my career in bodybuilding to change. So self-doubt, I was like, no self-doubt. I had a lot of people tell me I was stupid for doing it. Not to name any people, but I was told that I was an idiot. I would never make it to being a professional in bodybuilding. I would never win a competition. I was told, why are you doing that? What a waste. My dad saying, oh, you'll never, where are you going to get all your protein from? Why are you doing this? Just a lot of people just saying, there's no way you can do what you want to do and do this. Even the people at the gym said, it's going to cost you an absolute bomb just to eat that way, and you won't be able to make any muscle. And in my own head, being the stubborn bastard I am, I literally turned around and I was like, fuck you, I'm going to do it anyway. And that's pretty much why I've become super serious about it, because I'm just like, you're lagging a bit, dude. It's alright, try to speak now.
Hello.
Yeah, you are there. What did you say? I think we missed it.
I was just saying, that's what I like about you. You're your own person.
Yeah.
Once you've got your mindset on something, no one else, no matter if there's like all people telling you different. Because I remember that time when you converted, you had a lot of criticism. I remember it. And you went through with it, and no one was changing your mind for anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, kudos for you for that.
Thanks,
it was
bro.
Great. Now, the nutrition side, it's popular belief that vegans don't get the right nutrition, as you've mentioned with Dad, saying you're not going to get enough protein. That's something that's said. Yeah. That's something that's said quite a lot about vegans. Obviously, you being quite heavily muscled and going through the diet phase and still retaining a lot of muscle, can you debunk that myth?
No. No, but I can give you my insight. I can give you my anecdotal data on it. And I think the science is to say, obviously, that it is 100% possible. And there is a lot of people in the fitness industry that are vegans now and are still doing what they're doing, even sometimes better than how they were before. Even myself, when I changed over, I became stronger and bigger. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not a science person, so I can't really say, how much protein you actually need. Does it really matter if it comes from animal or plant-based? But for myself, I eat pretty much the same amount of protein as I was before, but I feel better. I feel healthier. I feel like I recover faster, weirdly, sleep better, digest better. I don't know why that is. Don't ask me why. I've done loads of research on it. Some people are saying, oh, you only need, 0.6 grams to a pound of body weight. Some people say you need 1.2 grams to a pound of body weight. I don't know. I think it's very personal. But for myself, getting in protein from vegan foods, it's a case of what I tell a lot of people is when you grow up as a kid, you're basically taught as a child of how to create meals using meat. That's your center plate, and everything else surrounds it. Whilst when you change to being a vegan, or if you're a vegan, you've got to take everything into consideration and all their macros. Now this is so there is a lot of protein in everything, really. I mean, like in a bagel, you got 10 grams. You can get it from wheat protein. You can get it from even in white rice. There's protein, but in what amounts is what a lot of people who are science-based about fitness and nutrition will say, is not good protein. However, most, 60% of my protein comes from these not complete sources. So if you look at my diet, let's say I eat 200 grams of protein a day, which I am at currently. If it was down to not being complete, I would probably be take all the aminos from them and make them complete. So how much actual complete protein I'm getting? It's probably about 100 grams, maybe 120 grams. So I don't know. This is where I'm saying, maybe you don't need as much as you think, or maybe the science isn't yet out there to show that actually plant-based is easier for your body to use. Who knows? There's a lot of people being paid off to say things at the moment, and I don't think it'll be clear for quite a while. But no, myself, coming back to food, that's a bit of a tangent. Food, no, I don't struggle getting protein in. I use quite a lot of soy products, and no, I don't get boobies from it. I don't get any estrogen problems, which is another popular myth, is that, you got plant estrogens in there. But then again, to think that in your meat, in your chicken, in your beef and stuff like that, there isn't animal estrogens is a little bit silly. So, what's going to affect me more, something that's animal or something that's from a plant? That's the way I see it. So I think it was just a scare tactic from dairy industry to stop people from drinking soy. I think I've had absolutely zero problems from it. And in fact, when I was dieting down from my competition, it was pretty much all I ate, and I had no adverse effects from it at all. So I think, again, it's individual. If you do have problems with it, then you do. But there is other sources. You've got corn meat, which is actually a fungus. You've got, you can buy things like black bean spaghetti, which are really high in protein, lentil, pasta and spaghetti. Just eating legumes in general have plenty of protein in. And if you're not fussed about hitting, 200 grams like I do, then you can pretty much focus most of your meals around, grains and legumes and vegetables and stuff, and get a decent amount of protein in. But heredity, I can't say the word, but when you look at it, most of the time, yes, we probably eat less protein, probably. But has it affected me in building muscle? No. So I don't know what else to say. People believe it or they don't. That's the thing. There'll always be people who will look at that and say, "There's no way you can make muscle without eating 300 grams of protein a day." Well, okay. I've gave you my 2 cents. You believe it or not, basically.
Jumping right there. So a lot of people do say, vegan food is bland.
Right.
I'm sure you have your treats and your cheats. Can you give me a run through of what they're like? I remember going on one with you. I did enjoy it myself.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure you did. Anyway, let me just say this to people who say that. Jack, can you explain what you eat, being a meat eater, and tell me it's not bland?
Well, that's the thing. I have nice seasoned chicken.
Yeah, but exactly, seasoned.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I just do the same.
Seasoned. Okay.
Yeah. So chicken itself is pretty bland, pretty boring. I think it's the only food that I used to eat that actually made me feel sick eating it raw, like as it was, without anything on it. Yeah. So, but other than that, you might have pasta with that. Okay, take the chicken out. We both can eat pasta, and I just add tofu, which again is bland. So I'll just season that, and boom, Bob's your uncle. I'm eating pretty much the same food. I'm eating tofu. You're eating chicken. So it can be bland if you want it to be bland, and it can also taste ridiculously good when you want it to taste ridiculously good.
Yeah.
I think that goes with all food, you know. Even eating meat, you could most meat, fish, and stuff like that tastes, you know, pretty awful on its own. So you season it with plants, and it tastes better. So I don't know. I think if I just ate lentils cooked in water and nothing else, then yeah, it'd be pretty like grim. But no, I use Nando's sauce, Nando's seasoning. All those things are vegan. Ketchup. There's plenty of like vegan dressings you can get. Vegan mayonnaise. There's lots of things, you just have to look for it, and I think it's general knowledge that people don't know yet. They don't know these options are out there, so people just assume that I just eat broccoli all day, which I quite enjoy.
So you're basically proven right.
Yeah, basically, yeah, I do eat broccoli, don't I? It's good stuff.
Okay. So moving on, you've recently had an article written about you. It was featured on the popular sports page on Facebook, joe.co.uk. I think that is, with an audience of 4.2 million people. Yeah. You didn't know about this, did you?
No, I didn't. Someone popped up to me before you did that I met at a hairdresser's, one of my mates, and he popped up and he was like, I swear this is you. And I looked, I was like, it is? Where the hell is this from? And then you popped up and I was like, congratulations. And I was like, what? What the hell is going on?
Interview and everything.
No, it was what
I was telling you more about it than you.
Yeah, no, I didn't know it at all. To be fair, it was actually a article written by the Sentinel, and what someone had done from Joe is basically adapt it to their own article and put it on Facebook, and obviously it got quite a lot of views, and pretty much every comment on it that was within the first half an hour to an hour was very, very judgmental.
Yeah,
I think at the moment, especially as veganism is becoming more of a well-known thing, more of a fad, as you've said, which it is. You know, it's becoming a trend. A lot of people are changing over, maybe not for the correct reasons, but I can't complain. It helps out in the end. But yeah, so a lot of people are fighting against it. There's a period at the moment where a lot of people are doing everything they can to fight veganism, and things posted about it. In fact, Greg's released a vegan sausage roll, and there's actually been a petition and boycott of Greg's to try and get rid of it. I mean, fuck me, if there was a sausage roll for disabled people and they were doing a boycott, for that is ridiculous, you know? It's just an option. Yeah. Like, you don't have to eat it. I don't understand why people are going crazy about it.
Exactly. I'm with you on that one. The irony is there's people calling the people eating those sausage rolls a snowflake, but that was getting offended by a sausage roll.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Yes, this is the thing. I am very quiet about being a vegan. I don't say a lot most of the time, unless people ask me about it. And I find the people who complain about it and talk about it the most as people who aren't vegan.
I can attest to that. For anybody who doesn't know Jack doesn't walk around saying, I'm vegan. he's just literally, when he's asked about it, he'll talk about it. If he's not asked about it, he doesn't bring it up. And that's a common misconception with vegans, is that they go around. Some may do, but that's to their own.
I think when it first started out, there was a lot of people like that who wanted to be a bit, you know, of a bit of a just to bring attention to themselves, so they would go out and be like that and be like, oh, I'm superior because I'm vegan. So but as there's been more people joining, well, I say joining, it's not a cult or anything, but more people who are eating this way, a lot of people tend to not talk about it as much. In fact, whilst I was in Australia, there was a guy in the hostel who was also vegan, and we never spoke about it. And one time he came in with a vegan pizza, and I was like, are you vegan? He was like, yeah. I was like, what the hell? You never said anything. And it was just like, we just keep to ourselves most of the time, unless people walk over and go, oh, what's that you're eating? And I'm like, oh, well, it's tofu. it's sponge. But no, coming back to the Joe article, I had quite a lot of negative comments. Genuinely, people who hadn't read the article at all, but would see the pictures, and I was super lean because it was my last show at the Worlds. I was mega lean. I must have been like 5 or 4% body fat. I was ridiculously lean. And they would all accused of obviously taking steroids. Then you would have a lot of people who would mention about the vegan thing and say, oh yeah, he may be vegan now, but he made all his muscle being a meat eater, and now he's just retained it. There's no possible way he can add any more muscle on mass being vegan. It's just genetically impossible. Apparently, there was a lot of scientists that were commenting on that post. A lot of people who are nutritionalists and yeah, so they weren't. I'm obviously joking, but a lot of people, chatting shit basically.
I was going to say, you did have a lot of criticism in the comment section of that article. What do you think? What are your thoughts on the general public's reaction to natural bodybuilding?
A lot of people, I think, are in a position where they're in. What's it called? Where they're like denial. There are a lot of people are in denial because the way the way people are today is fast food eaters. Everything is easy and quick to eat, and a lot of people are fat and unhealthy and at desk jobs. And there's a lot of people who want to deny any possibility that there is anything outside of what they look like themselves being normal, and anybody who is in a position of fitness, or people who are very dedicated to fitness as we are, who spend a crap load of our time.
I just lost you for a second.
All right, sorry. Where did you lose me?
Pretty much about 10 seconds ago.
Right, okay. I was basically saying that people people are in denial about other people who do sports and look good. They only see their own physique. Most people are overweight, but the standards of overweight have changed because so many people are overweight. So now massively obese is actually overweight, and overweight is normal. So anybody who sees someone who is any ounce of muscle or leanness is instantly on steroids, and there's no other way that they can look that way unless they're on gear. And a lot of people just don't understand the amount of effort and work that goes into it, and it makes them feel a lot better just to jump to the conclusion that people cheat to get to where they are instead of just general hard work. And it's a shame, really. I think I just wish sometimes that people would be you would see it and go, okay, yeah, maybe they might have the idea, maybe they might have the thought, oh, this guy's on gear. Yeah, maybe, I'm not saying, I was super shredded, and it's hard to believe that anybody could look like that. But the fact that it took me half a year or more to look like that, they don't see that. All they saw was the fact that I changed vegan and I look like that. That's all they see. So they might have thought, oh, I did it in a week. And that would take enhancements to be like that. So people, yeah, that's pretty much it. People just don't know the full story, and people like to talk rubbish definitely behind social media because there's not as much there's no comeback to it. There's no discussion about it. Let's say if you said it now and you went, "Oh, he's on steroids," and I could be like, "Actually, no." I could speak to you about it. It would be a discussion. While social media is very much you comment and there's no discussion. There is just opinions, and opinions are just thrown at each other, and it becomes very violent very quickly if you reply to things like that because people are very quick to defend themselves and very quick to deny any other reasoning beyond their own.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's a lot of people who aren't as informed of the thought of natural bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Right, finishing up, what advice would you give to people making the transition with veganism, as it is a growing thing, and we are in the throes of the increasingly popular vegan area?
Okay. To anybody who's thinking about changing, I would say exactly the same as what I did. Your first port of call is to watch Cowspiracy, Forks Over Knives, and Earthlings. Once you've watched all them, then make the decision. Do not make the decision just on the fact that it's a trend, because you won't stick to it and it won't be for the right purpose. There's no point in putting yourself through that, or not having a clue where to start just because your mate's doing it. So that's the first thing you should be doing. Then secondly was to research about it. There's plenty of YouTube channels on there. There's plenty of Instagram pages you can follow on ideas for food. There's hundreds of Jamie Oliver and even Gordon Ramsay's jumping on the boat nowadays with meal ideas, and I'm sure BBC do a hell of a lot as well. But yeah, it's enjoy experimenting. I think a lot of people fall into the trap of just eating pasta every day. You're making this change, hopefully to be healthier with yourself and help animals. Then maybe it's time to start looking at healthier food choices as well, eating more vegetables, eating more fruits. Go actually walking down the grains and rice and pasta aisle and stuff like that, things that you probably totally skip, or just walk to pick up the Tiddle basmati rice and walk out again. Actually look in those lanes and pick things out and try things. But there's still space to eat your favorite foods. You can still eat toast. You can still eat cereal. Most cereals are vegan. You can still eat bagels. You can still eat bread. Everything's pretty much vegan. Just don't eat animals, and then you'll be sound most of the time. Just if you're taking that leap to be healthier or to be vegan, just actually follow through with it and eat healthier as well. Just experiment, and if you still feel you're stuck, look for some guidance, look for some, again, YouTube videos or coaches or someone who can help you along that. But it is a little bit of a learning curve. Again, you've got to learn how to eat again, pretty much. So yeah, just take your time with it, but be varied in your diet. People fail, I think, mostly because they're not varied. They before the diet was shit when they were eating meat, but they were just eating chicken before then, and now they start eating chicken, and now they're just eating toast every day. And yes, you're going to end up in hospital if you do that. But if you eat properly like a human being, then you'll be sound.
Yeah, it's pretty solid advice. Okay, now where can people follow you? Where are you most active?
Okay, so most active social media is my name, which is just literally Jack Stanyer. You can follow me on that. Soon I'll have my coaching Instagram page also up and running. By the time, if there's some person in the future watching this, it'll probably be up, and that is team.supreme.official. Other than that, you can add me on Facebook as a friend or send me a message on there, or my email is literally my full name at outlook.com, all lowercase.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jack. You've been brilliant. And thank you for anybody who's tuned in to the first ever episode of the Imperium Podcast. If you like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe to see future podcasts. Thank you very much. Catch you next time.